We have a property tax hell coming, guys. Property tax Armageddon. A huge wave of property tax increases are causing individuals to do ridiculous things to keep up with the increased cost of their property taxes.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
My name is Orlando and welcome to the channel, guys. We have an issue, guys. We have a big problem. We're gonna jump straight into this. It says a property tax reckoning is coming. Property taxes are rising unevenly across the country, triggering concerns of affordability. Now, we all know that there's been some issue with affordability when it comes to this housing market. And a lot of this people didn't see coming. To the normal everyday home buyer, they do not understand that if you have an increase in property values, that you are going to have to pay that when it comes to property taxes. The issue at hand, guys, is that a lot of times people don't realize when you close any home, you're closing on the value that is determined by the assessor then. You're not closing on future value, or AKA what you're purchasing at today. So a lot of times people just think, wow, this is what the property taxes are gonna be. But since we've had these 33% year-over-year increases, people did not think to themselves, wow, I'm gonna have to pay this overpriced amount in taxes. A lot of people did not realize that. They didn't realize they were gonna have to do that. In Spokane, Washington, a mortgage loan officer, a regional bank has seen 5 borrowers qualify for a mortgage for one amount, only to have that number slashed a few months later. They were approved in December, he said. Now they've gone from a $450,000 down to a $325,000 loan amount. Now that is basically how much can they afford. So they were at $450,000, then they went all the way down to a $325,000 home. Now, I know a lot of you guys are like, that sounds horrific. And it does. It is very bad. When they found out, they were just like, what? That's crazy. But let's see the reason behind it first, okay? It says the reason behind the change, he said, is not that they had a sudden reduction in income or an emergency expense that drained their savings. The culprit is property tax bills, which arrive on April 1st, bearing property tax increases driven by fast rising home prices. See what I'm saying, guys? April 1st came, and where are we right now? Why are we all of a sudden hearing about these increased property taxes? April 1st just came. We're in April right now, and people are now just getting those tax bills. But here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. These guys were saved. These individuals who were approved for a $450,000 home, and then it got deducted down to $325,000. These people were saved. You know why? Because what if that would have happened after they purchased the property? All of a sudden, now you have an increased value. Now, all of a sudden, you have an increased bill of property taxes that you have to pay, that these guys probably couldn't afford. You see what I'm saying? So now, all of a sudden, you have a wave of individuals that have previously purchased homes that are in these guys' situation that didn't get saved by the tax assessor bill. It took them so long to find a home that when they finally found a home, the tax assessor had already just appraised the home. But what if you had already purchased it? You would have been in a pickle like these other people taking out loans. If you watch my last video, people are taking loans out currently right now to pay for their property taxes, guys. Insane. In Spokane, the average property bill has risen from about $2,500 in 2019 to about $3,000 in 2021. Tax assessment data shows, depending on the area that you're in, the property assessment, however, can increase and be much higher. For those hoping to buy a home with a mortgage, property tax increase can reduce their debt to income ratio, thus the amount that they qualify for. But underwriters only factor in current property tax rates, not future increase. So existing home buyers can be caught off guard when there are gaps in between what is in escrow and the tax bill that comes due. Yes, yes, yes. To make this all layman terms, so all of a sudden you purchase a home, you pay $100,000 over asking for that. The tax bill is based off of the old owner's tax bill. That's what it's based off of, because that's what the assessor said it is. You go ahead and put everything in escrow, and you're so used to paying $500 extra. All of a sudden, your tax bill comes up due, and they say you're short. And you're like, what? I'm short? They're like, yeah, you're short $2,000, because when we reassessed your home at the value you purchased it at, you know, that's increased tax bill. So now you owe $2,000 extra.
And you got to come up with it now.
You can't do a payment arrangement. You can't do XYZ. In most counties, you have to come up with that money right now. And that sounds scary and horrible. You would think, why would you just shoot the bill up on me like that? But that's the way it is. It's unfortunate that that's the way it is. But a lot of home buyers aren't ready for that, guys. They're not ready for that. You have to remember, you overpaid for the home, so you drained all of your savings, and then now you got to come up with $2,000 extra? That's tough, right? $2,000 extra. But here's the thing. You had to deal with inflation stuff, right? You got to deal with increased gas, increased grocery bills. Everything increased, right? But what stays the same? Your income. Also, too, you don't have any money in your savings because you dipped it all into the $100,000 overpriced home. But the question is how much have some of these areas increased? Well, we got the data here, guys, and we're going to go right into this. So it says Tennessee, 30% property tax increase. Milwaukee, 19% increase. Baltimore, 12% increase in property taxes. This is insane. But here's another factor that a lot of people aren't thinking of. You may not have been one of these individuals looking for a home and purchased a home, and all of a sudden, poof, you know, property taxes are sprawled on you and you don't understand. What about individuals who have already lived in homes? You're seeing people overpay for homes, which increases the value of your home that you're living in right now. So you get the little postcard, and we all know the postcard, right? The postcard that you get every year that says, hey, your property taxes are this, or the assessor office said that your house is worth XYZ. Now you get this tax bill, and just because your next door neighbor just overpaid for a house, you know, he paid $600,000 for that home. Now your home property value has increased. When they do your assessment, you have to pay for that. You're going to get that surprise $2,000 bill that says, hey, you're short on your escrow. You're short on your escrow. We're going to need that money from you. But let's not even talk about the increases that cities are doing. Cities are doing rate increases on the area with property increases in value. So you're getting hit double whammy with property rate increases and property value increases because people are paying more for homes as they are right now. Let's jump to another sector that I think is very important to talk about. What about seniors that you get Social Security and maybe a pension, and they've paid off their home, but they still need to pay their property taxes, and they're paying it in chunks. They bought their home in, 20 years ago for $200,000, and now that home is worth $700,000 because everyone else is overpaying for homes. And then they get a huge $4,000 to $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 bill from their taxes. Can they afford that? What the data is saying right now is no. Those seniors cannot pay that. And even though I know some of you guys are going to say, well, Orlando, that's the reason why they have exemptions and this and that. Not a lot of people understand exemptions, senior exemptions, homestead exemptions, and all of those other things. And even though the exemptions are there, they do not erase property taxes. They give you a discount, guys, a discount on property values. And if you did not expect your property values to go up, skyrocket, along with the rate increases, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you didn't expect that to happen and you got to come up with an extra $6,000 that you did not think you were going to have to come up with, it's going to hurt. And this is the reason why individuals are taking out more debt to pay for property taxes, using credit cards to pay for property taxes, getting payday loans to deal with property taxes. It's insane. And this is where you start seeing the red flags and where you start thinking to yourself, wow, you know what, Orlando? I didn't think of that. I didn't realize this is going to happen. But Orlando, we have low inventory. But low inventory does not matter if the people inside their current houses now cannot afford their homes due to property taxes, due to increased cost of just living and income staying the same. It's just not gonna work, guys. It's not going to work. And you have to see it. It's a recession waiting to happen. Assessments won't catch up with increases for some time. The increases are already in progress. They have been large increases in areas that saw large home price increases and recent updated tax assessment. The average property tax bill in Tennessee, which has one of the lowest tax rates, saw a 30% increase. We talked about that. We talked about Milwaukee 19, Baltimore 12%, but property taxes vary dramatically from state to state and city to city, even within cities where there are multiple tax authorities. And that's what we're talking about. A lot of times people think that this wave, there's going to be this tsunami that's just going to just crash on the housing market. But what a lot of people don't understand when it comes, especially when it comes to property taxes, it's a monsoon that's going to, or a tidal wave that's going to hit the beach at different times. You know, it's going to hit Miami at one time. Then 2 months later, it's going to hit LA. Then it's going to hit Spokane 2 months after that. It's not going to hit all at the same time based on different situations that's happening city to city, and it is becoming extremely unaffordable, guys, for people to live in their current houses, along with people who overpaid for houses, along with people who are done even working because income has not changed and there is no income increase. Just imagine what's going to happen when individuals start losing jobs and the income is not available at all because of a recession. Then we're going to have another issue, another layer, guys. Once again, this isn't a doom and gloom video. I know it's a lot of bad negative news, but it's news that is necessary for you to understand what's currently going on in this crazy housing market. So I hope you got value out of this content, guys. Make sure that you make the best decision that you possibly can with the information that I'm giving you. I need you to check out this next video here. It will help you keep up with what everything is going on with this crazy housing market, and also jump into your first rental property, guys. Also check out in the description. I have a bunch of links that are useful links for you guys to help you out through this housing market, give you some insight. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.